Welcome to I'm with the Band here on the Mesh Podcast Network. I'm your host, Andrew Moose. If this is your first time listening to I'm with the Band, I'm with the Band invites musicians and bands of all types to discuss their current projects, their touring lives, and their lives as musicians. And of course, thank you for stopping in, and we hope that you will mash the subscribe button so that these episodes get sent directly to you. This episode of I'm with the Band is produced in partnership with the No Contact Concert Series, Codex Sound, and Midwood Entertainment. If you're considering advertising on the Mesh Podcast Network, it is a low cost way to reach a super targeted audience. And I've heard the people that only listen to podcasts on our network are rich, they're beautiful, and all they want to do is spend money with you. So you can go to www.themesh.tv/advertise and find out all the information about that. Today, we're currently podcasting away from the beautiful Mesh Studios in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, and are currently in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. So during this time, where venues aren't able to schedule shows, our good friends over at Midwood and Codex have partnered, and they're producing the No Contact Concert Series, which helps bands and fans interact via the internet. So my guest today is playing the No Contact Concert Series this Saturday, July 18th, 8 o'clock. I'd like to welcome Mike from Tall Tall Trees. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for joining. Just a couple quick stats on Tall Tall Trees. They have a brand new album, A Wave of Golden Things. They released it back in January. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about what went into making that album. I know that you are a multi instrumentalist. Did you play all the instruments on this album, or did you have other guys helping you?
No, not this time around. I did. I mean, I tend to play the majority of the string stuff, banjos and basses and stuff like that. But I had a drummer with me this time, a local from Asheville, Micah Thomas, and I had some singers join me. I kept it pretty sparse this time around. I had just a few Asheville musicians that I really connected with since my time down here, and then I spend a lot of time kind of figuring out parts and stuff and playing myself. But yeah, it was a fun affair.
Right on. Yeah, and we were talking a little bit offline. When you're out playing shows, you don't necessarily are taking guys around. You're using you're playing by yourself and looping a lot of stuff. Tell our listeners kind of what goes into that. They might not even realize what looping is, and maybe you touch on that for us.
Sure. I mean, looping is become kind of an art form, for the past, I don't know, 15, 20 years. I mean, people were doing it in the 80s, but it's just become kind of something that a solo musician can utilize to create a bigger sound than just a guitar or a banjo and a voice. So, I've always been kind of exploratory you know, in my instrument study. I've always been trying to get different sounds out of instruments. So, you know, um, when I discovered the loop pedal, I guess many years ago, I used it for a composition tool, just to kind of be able to play something and have it loop back and you can hear it right away, and you can make up melodies over it or whatever. So, but it's become an art form, and, uh, yeah, it's just kind of a way to make a lot of sound with one.
For sure. I've talked to a lot of guys that have introduced the looping pedals into their repertoire, and
Mhm.
I've found that a lot of guys are really using those to write and play music because it's easy to overdub over a melody or something like that, and it kind of gives you basically a whole universe of what a song could sound like before you take it to a studio or introduce it to your band or something. You can actually get almost like a first draft of a song before you put it out there to anyone really, to get some, even some good personal feedback. So, like maybe those parts don't go there, or
Yeah.
etc. Yeah.
I mean, the thing about music is it's so alive in the moment that when you're playing it, it just goes away. If you have a loop pedal, you can turn the loop pedal on and it comes back at you, and you
Right.
can react to it. I think like it gives. For me, I'm an improvising musician. I came from a jazz background, so for me to have something to play with, you know, and to get an idea right away and snap, without having to press record on something, it's just right at your feet. It became very inspiring and still is very inspiring for me to, because through the banjo, I've discovered how to play drums and bass and everything I could squeeze out of a banjo with my pedal board and stuff. So for me to make arrangements really quick with drums and bass and rhythmic stuff and sound effects, it's really fun, and it's very satisfying to kind of be able to build a world really quickly with loop pedals.
I've messed around with loop pedals, and it's scary to play out live with a loop pedal. I'll just be straight up honest. Like it can get crazy up there.
Yeah, you gotta have good timing, and if
Yeah.
and even if you have the most impeccable timing, it's never going to be perfect. And
Sure.
kind of part of the deal of playing with that is being able to embrace your mistakes and take them forward and kind of convince nobody that you've screwed up.
Wide awake, 3 a.m. Hard to gauge just how tired I am. See my eyes, but don't compare. Just run your fingers through my thinning hair. 'Cause you could win the darkest hue. The sun that came and knelt for you. It's true. I've seen you burn the world with fire when eyes and heart collide. Inspires a wave of golden things. Tell me now and tell me true. What is alive but standing right in front of you? So don't be scared. It's time to rise, 'cause we all need a little piece of love right now.
I know that your primary instrument is banjo, and is that true, or am I just making an
It
assumption
is
there?
true these days. In my younger
Right.
days, I was a bass player, and I kind of, took that very seriously for a while, But nowadays, I just mostly play banjo.
Right. Yeah. It's after going through your couple albums, like it's amazing the different sounds that you can get with that instrument, and
Yeah,
it's really, really impressive.
yeah,
Um, you know, I of course, I'm sure that you have influences in Bela Fleck and and those sort of guys. What other artists that do you take influence from that our listeners might not be turned on to that you'd like to mention?
yeah. Oh man. Well, I mean, that well is very deep, to
Right.
know to start naming artists. I've spent a lot of time, um, kind of listening to a lot of different kind of music, coming from a jazz background, and then I spent a lot of time with Brazilian music, which was pretty influential in the early days of Tall Tall Trees as far as what my approach was, because I really wanted to write music that was rhythmically interesting, as well as musically. I feel like a lot of like banjo music and Americana in general is the beats are pretty standard sometimes, not all the time, but there's a train beat,
Right.
in a lot of music, and I love that stuff, but I always wanted to kind of push outside of that with my music. So, I took a lot of interest in Brazilian music and African music, and uh, you know, that would really kind of give because I play the banjo like a drum, so it's at once a hand drum and with a mallet, so I could create these kind of rhythms that drive in a different way. So, but I mean, I love so much music. I'm in love with music every day, and I'm just constantly discovering new things. You know, but I love some local, North Carolina music, like I don't know if you know Floating Action or Tyler Ramsey, or there. I mean, there's so much good music in this part of the country here. You know,
Yeah, we're spoiled rotten in here in Western North
yeah.
Carolina with the amount of talent that's here. I
Mhm.
know we're really biased about it, but there's such a whole host of folks that are putting out really, really good stuff.
It don't matter what you say anymore. It don't matter what you do. There is nothing that can keep me here tonight.
switching gears a little bit, I saw on your website back in November you played some European dates in the UK and in France.
Mhm.
How was that experience? Tell us a little bit what that was like.
Oh, I mean, it's wonderful. I've been fortunate to get over to Europe many times over the last 10 years or so, and it's so fun to be able to go there and play. For people, they treat you really nice, and it's different traveling in Europe because it's you can stop at a gas station and get an espresso. There's a little the traveling life is a little nicer on the stomach and on the
Right.
just it's not uncommon to pull into a rest stop in Germany, and there's a chef, where you're pretty much, if you want to eat healthy, you have to stop at Subway, which
Right. Yeah, sheets on the go food isn't so
yeah,
hot
right.
these
I
days.
mean, I love America, but we definitely have some things to gain in the rest stop department. But Europe is it's beautiful to get to go there and connect with those people.
Right on. So yeah, playing in France and you singing in English.
Mhm.
Are most of those folks over there expats, or were they French folks?
I mean,
Or
yes, that does
yeah,
happen. You do. When I go there, as Tall Tall Trees or with Kishibashi, we do attract a certain number of expats. I think just because they, I've been abroad for a long time, and I've coming home to an English speaking country where you totally understand what's going on all the time. It's like it's a real, it takes, it lets you relax a little bit. So I think having, American artists in Europe, you know, um, it brings something American to people that are there and maybe missing home.
right. Yeah, it's like finding A1 steak sauce on the shelf, if you will. Something like
Yeah,
that. The American
over
section of
there,
the grocery stores.
you know.
Right on. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Mike Savano and his band Tall Tall Trees are playing the No Contact concert series this Saturday, July 18th. And if you might be catching this after the fact, you can go and rewatch their show on a few different platforms. One is you can go on to their website, www.crowd-less.com, to find out more information and to donate to the bands and all that good stuff. But yeah, we highly recommend you guys checking them out live this Saturday. And so, Mike, this is a standard on with the band question. What is your favorite North Carolina music venue? Whether you've played there or seen a show there,
Mhm.
we just like to give a little love to our local venues here.
Yeah, man, there's so many good ones. Really, I
Yeah.
mean, I had the fortunate pleasure of playing the Hall River Ballroom pretty recently or last year, which
Tell
was
us about that. Where's that?
yeah, it's in Haw River. It's a small town outside of, I guess it's outside of like Durham, like the Triangle. It's pretty not too far, but it's beautiful. This huge kind of open air, venue. Yeah, it was just a really special, beautiful place. But man, I love a lot of venues here. I'm sad to see the Mothlight go in Asheville. That was one of my favorite ones to play, but that we're losing venues, because of this pandemic, and it's sad. It's going to change the landscape of, you know, of
Right.
future music if we don't somehow support, these venues.
Absolutely. And we that's one of the reasons why I asked that question here is,
Mhm.
because of the pandemic, we are going to, unfortunately, we will lose venues, and hopefully it will, we feel terrible for those folks that are the proprietors now, but hopefully once everything passes, maybe new proprietors will step up, and or even the old proprietors might step up and say, retake that torch, and
Yeah.
we'll be able to get back to some sort of sense of normalcy in the music scene here in Western North
Mhm.
Carolina, because I miss it. I know you do, and
Yeah.
it's and that's why the things like the No Contact concert series are just so important, because not only for musicians, basically sharpening their knives, but it's
Mhm.
also gives them a chance to interact with the folks that they're missing interacting with on the road, and
Yeah.
and I think that's why it's just so important what these guys are doing, and we uh, appreciate them. So, with shows canceling all over the place, how have you adapted? How have you been doing much streaming, or is
Mm.
there anything in particular?
Yeah. Well, Yeah, it's been tricky. I just put out a record on January 31st. Like my entire
Right.
year was booked. Like I was ready between, Tall Tall Trees and Kishibashi. Like I had, 5, 6 solid months of actual touring planned and booked.
Right.
I just watched it all fall away. It was pretty depressing because I was excited for it, and I just spent, when you make a record, it takes a year sometimes. I didn't really play a lot in last year because I was busy recording and writing and doing all this. And it kind of, I mean, of course, there's much worse things happening in the world, but yeah, it was disappointing to put a brand new record out and not be able to go share it with people. I was really excited about this record, and it kind of fell by the wayside, because there's a lot more important things. I hope that it found some people, but the way that I really, advertise and sell my music is by going out and playing every night and connecting with new people. And, that's how I promote my music. So
Right.
it's been difficult, and the streaming thing is an amazing. I mean, if you would have told me 10 years ago that we would be able to play concerts from your home into the void of the internet to whoever was out there, I wouldn't believe you. But it's also
Right.
really strange, kind of not getting the energy feedback. I realized.
Oh, for sure it is. I mean, that's what musicians feed off of, and the energy from the crowd is what makes it. So
Yeah,
it's
of course, it's
very,
hard
very difficult.
thing,
Yeah.
'cause it shapes, when I play in front of people, I'm looking at people, and I'm watching their energy. If they're into what I'm doing, I keep going. If they're not, I stop. It's like,
Yeah.
to do that into
Yeah,
the,
feedback's so important.
it's kind of like staring into a mirror and trying to do it to yourself and trick yourself, but I mean, it's
Mhm.
on the other hand, it's a beautiful thing that we can
For
share
sure.
ourselves from wherever we are on our little, post on this planet, and broadcast wherever. So, I mean, I've started a Patreon. That's also something that's kind of starting to help, just so I can share new music and videos that I've been working on while I'm home. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, and we'll definitely share that Patreon link with
Cool.
our
Yeah, send
listeners
me
and
all
all that
through.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Mike, tell us a little bit about how we can, as listeners, reach you guys as a band, like the website and socials and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, talltalltrees.com is my website. And yeah, all the socials, it's just Tall Tall Trees. Sometimes it's Tall Tall Trees with 3 E's, but it's pretty easy
Okay,
to find on
cool,
Instagram
man.
and Facebook, and Patreon is patreon.com/talltalltrees. And I'm out there. I'm out there waiting for someone to send me a message.
So we'd love for you to, go check out Mike and Tall Tall Trees this Saturday on the No Contact Concert Series. Mike, thanks again for joining us, man. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, right on. And we'd also like for you to head over to the mesh.tv, subscribe to all those shows so that they can be sent directly to you without having to download them. And again, we'd like to thank Mike from Tall Tall Trees on being on I'm with the band today. And I cannot talk and I can't get through anything, but our listeners are used to that. So we will see you next time on I'm with the band here on the Mesh.
Sunday morning, lazy feeling. No way, no one stealing this from me. I get 1 day, and you get 6 days. Makes me wanna hide away. I can't wait until tomorrow. Monday morning, up and at 'em, hustling, crushing. You know how I do, but I get 1 day, and you get 6 6 of my days. Makes me wanna hide away. Why can't I wait until tomorrow? Na na, na na, na na, na na, na na, na na. Why can't I wait until tomorrow? I'm putting my phone away. I don't care what they're saying. Not on a holiday. Gonna take a beach vacation. Whatever happened to a little human decency? All I want is a little time for me and my family. Oh, having a party time. Why can't I wait until tomorrow? Don't hush my mellow. I'm looking out my window. The sun is shining and it's calling me. Like a mother's voice that cuts above cacophony. And it soothes me like a solo on the saxophone. I keep giving you all I got, and you want a little bit more. Why you putting me on the spot? Today, what day? Whose day? What you say? My day, Friday, happy birthday in jail. I get one day, and you get the rest of my days. Makes me wanna hide away. Why can't it wait until tomorrow? Why can't it wait until tomorrow? Why can't it wait until tomorrow? Na na, na na.